We're
Hello. Here we are. Oh, there's my dear friend Shannon. Well, hello.
live.
Yes, we are live. We couldn't decide if we were going to do jazz hands like Susan did yesterday or what might happen, but you never know.
Do it all. I can dance.
You do
There's always a
any
song.
music as long as it's in your head.
Always songs in my head. And mainly like Selena songs in my head.
Selena. Oh, that's interesting. My new favorite song, which isn't like a new song, but I'm really into Jealousy by Labyrinth. Have you heard
Oh,
that
yeah.
song? Oh,
Yeah, I have. The girls like that song.
the words in that song are awesome. Well, anyways, and maybe I'll share it for my friends out there. But hello, everybody. We are super excited to be here today. And for those who don't know me or this platform, I'm going to share a little bit about myself. My name is Lisa Harris, and I am the CEO and founder of Lisa Harris and Company. We are a personal development company that connects, guides, and transforms women's lives through the power of storytelling. And we do that in many different ways, but here today, we are going to be sharing a little bit about our upcoming event. So on this platform, we have online events that started back in 2020 for obvious reasons. We all know those reasons. We don't need to be reminded of them, but they've been a great place for women to share, connect, and comfort each other during these challenging times. And one of the things that was really important this year for me was to invite women from our community to help co-host these events. And the topics that we have that we're planning to cover this year are topics that are really at the root of many of the stories that women come to me to uncover and unravel and explore. And so I really wanted to focus 2021 on some of these topics that are really important to us. And we're really excited because next week is our second event of 2021. And the topic that we are going to be discussing as a community is becoming my mother and daughter relationships. And what's really special about this topic is we often talk about motherhood within certain circles. And as we get older and glean wisdom as becoming mothers, as navigating through life, we start to reflect on our relationships with our mothers. And so it's the upward movement versus the downward of having children. And it's really exciting to be able to talk about this topic. So today I wanted to introduce to you one of the co-hosts that's going to be leading this discussion. And I met Shannon almost a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I met her on the day she walked away from corporate to take a deep dive into this crazy world of entrepreneurship and small business owner. And we connected immediately. And since then, we have supported each other in many different ways. And I'm just really delighted she continues to be engaged and support me as a woman, as a multiracial woman, as an entrepreneur, and all the things. So Shannon was able to co-host an event last year that we had some race discussions, and also Shannon has gone through our Uncover Your Truth course. And today she's going to be helping to lead this discussion, and I'm super excited about this topic. So without further ado, because I know you probably don't want to hear me talk about all of this, I want you to meet Shannon and give her the opportunity to tell you a little bit about herself personally and professionally, and maybe her initial thoughts on what you can expect for this event.
Well, thank you, Lisa. First and foremost, it's easy to support you because you are an incredibly supportive individual. You were a sounding board for me day one. We laughed. For those of you that don't know Lisa, she's like the person that shows up and shows up in a big way. So I had shortly after we met, I had my open house for Forethought Planning, the wealth management and financial planning firm that I left said corporate career to start. I've spent my life in finance in various different capacities, and some people might say snooze fest. And I just try to repurpose the financial language to make it more approachable for individuals and not make it a snooze fest. But Lisa showed up to my open house with barely even knowing me. She stayed until like everybody had left. We had a dance party. She helped me clean up. It was the best. And so, needless to say, friendship was formed. And sometimes you don't need to know someone for years and years to just care and love them up. And you do that in such a great way. So I'm happy to support you and what you do. You've given me words I didn't know that I had to talk about stories that have happened in my life. If those of you have not participated in Unveil Your Truth, it is an incredible, just even beginning to understanding your story. And I look forward to uncovering more of that. And you'll learn about my story a bit next week in more in depth. But we really wanted to create a platform next week for interaction. And that's one thing that you do such a great job of, creating spaces for that interaction to occur. So I hope you all will join us in the safe space to talk about some sensitive topics like motherhood and your relationship with your mom. I'll kind of go into a little bit about me. So yes, I own my own financial planning and wealth management firm. It's still weird to say that some days. But
you do.
Yeah. And most people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you like left corporate America in 2020 and then like everything happened. Well, the reality was it created a lot of really great conversations for people from a financial planning perspective. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve clients in that capacity. I have a drive to make complex topics really approachable. And I believe that everyone is worthy of creating the wealth that they define for themselves. So that's why I left. I really have a passion of repurposing wealth and making finances an aspect that is doing good for all, not just some. So talking about sustainable wealth, which is a topic that I could get on a platform and talk about all day long, but we won't bore everybody. So if you have questions about what that looks like, you can chat with me. I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am a wife. I'm a friend. And as many of you carry so many titles, they carry lots of different responsibilities that each one of us have. And the complex title of daughter has been something for me that I have had my entire life. So I am biologically the only child, yet my parents take on many individuals, friends, and people who have come into their lives and quasi-adopt them into our family. And we have a much more extended family. But my mom and I had a very interesting relationship. My parents were separated for a good part of my childhood, from the time I was in 5th grade until I was in college. And then they got back together. Crazy, weird situation. And now their love is rampant more than it has been. And my mom takes care of my dad, who is battling Alzheimer's and dementia. But it really took me a long time to understand my mom. My mom was someone who was very guarded emotionally. She didn't share a lot. It was not out of not caring or not loving. And she just didn't have somebody that had modeled that behavior for her. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, I didn't know that. And I just was like, what's wrong with her? Like, why is she this way? Because I've always been a very outwardly emotional individual. And some people might take that in a way, but like in a healthy way. Yeah. And sometimes maybe not so healthy, but we're human in that perspective. And so when you asked me what topics I could speak on, I was like, well, I think this one probably fits the bill pretty well. Of course, I could talk about my wonderful relationship I have with my daughters and the journey it has been for me to become a mother. But that story transcends even more being able to talk about my relationship with my mom. And that has impacted how I look at my relationships and what do I want to do and how do I want to be present and how do I want to be present for my mom as well. We just recently Actually, yesterday, got news that my dad's care plan is probably going to advance more quickly than we had assumed. And we all will have to start thinking about what other care options besides mom just caring for him
Yeah.
can be available. And so that's watching her through these elements of being a mom with me and being very guarded or not even guarded, like everything was done. My mom worked 3 jobs. She was home, she made dinner. She took care of everything and never tried to make anything look hard,
Yeah.
which then produced its own element of, well, then I have to make everything look like it's not hard.
Yeah.
And then both of us kind of crashed at the same time, and it was the loss of my grandfather. He passed away 7 years ago, and he was our light and our joy and was really there for us in a lot of hard times in our lives. And that was the first time I ever saw real, raw emotion with my mom. We were standing on the steps of my house, and she was upset and couldn't articulate the words in the way that she was upset. And I
Yeah.
had just had a baby. And so I had raging hormones and I had just lost my grandfather. Not a great
Yeah.
combination.
No,
Uh,
not
not a
at
great
all.
not a great combination, but it was the first time I really saw my mom.
Yeah.
And when I sat back and put my feelings aside, I could see the hurt and pain that she was suffering for multiple reasons, losing her dad, but um, decades of feelings just coming out that probably had been buried that she hadn't let fly free. And since then, I've tried to create really safe spaces for her. Still been honest, still had to establish boundaries in certain codependency relationships that might exist, but also being able to see her for the person that she truly is.
Yeah.
And it was a journey because we did not always have a great relationship with each
Yeah.
other.
And I think that's honest, and that's what these conversations are about, and that's what these events are about. Is I talk about it, personally, and with the women who are already engaged in this platform. That this is not experts, but really women sharing their lived experiences and opening up about what that relationship can look like. And so I'm really excited to have you helping to lead this discussion because it is vulnerable and it is
Mhm.
real. I think about my mother and I think about all the women who have come to me in search of, uncovering themselves and unraveling all these pieces of their lives. And especially for women, we look to our mothers for so much at such a young age of everything, of what love looks like, what it feels like, how you show it, how you love yourself, who you can become, what you can do, how you should be treated. All these things, whether they were positive influences or not,
Mhm.
are in the faces of our mothers at a very young age. And so understanding them, understanding ourselves, understanding, how to navigate that, and what that can look like so that it does serve our lives, so that we can grow in understanding ourselves better is so, so important. And it is so hard. Like Susan said the other day, I think she was like, it is just, complicated and complex, but something really powerful exists between a mother and a daughter. And we would love to explore that with all of you. So,
Yeah. And I would say we're looking at it as an opportunity to talk about what our experiences are, what that healing journey looked like, and being able to interact with all of you as a part of that. I think one thing that Lisa will never brag about herself, but every piece on her platform is sacred. It is a space that is created that, these events aren't recorded because Lisa respects privacy and everyone that attends it respects that same level of privacy and confidentiality as we share really hard things. There is a reality that some of this is a lot of generational trauma that isn't even just our mothers, but
yeah,
grandmothers and people in their lives before that. I wasn't able to really see my mom until I was able to see how absent my grandmother was for her. And that really allowed me to see, wow, my mom did the best she could with the tools that she was given. Um, and that allowed me to heal my relationship with
Yeah.
being a mom as well, because I had postpartum anxiety, and that's the evil, ugly
Yeah.
cousin, stepsister to postpartum depression that a lot of people don't talk about.
Right.
But there was a lack of bonding at first. And everybody kept telling me like I should love my kids, and I loved them. And there was
And
this element of, how do I deal with this? Why did somebody give me this tiny human? I can't do this. I don't know how. Like, they don't come with a user manual. What am I supposed to do?
yours didn't?
Was I supposed to get one? I didn't know. Oh,
They
maybe I
missed
should
you.
send him. My daughter said to me the other day, why don't you just return me? And I was like, I can't.
Oh, I can't.
There was no return address.
No return address. You belong here.
You're
Yeah.
stuck with
Yeah.
me. But that, that element of being able to change those relationships and look at both. And I think we look at I did a live this morning talking about caregiving, and we look so much at every space in our life as this or that, rather than being with like, I can have boundaries with my family, because there are issues that have occurred in our family
Yep.
that I have to set boundaries, and I can love the crap out of them
Yes.
and call my mom and cry with my mom and love on my mom and laugh with I can do both.
Yeah. I think "and" is such a big word this year for me. I've always been using "and," but I'm definitely putting more emphasis on it because it's life. Life is "and." And the more we can acknowledge and embrace the word "and," the easier we're able to heal in our own lives, right? Because it is "and." I can be hurt and I can love you, and that's just real. That's just honest. And the sooner we're able to figure that out, the better. So I'm using "and" a lot, and I love it that you're using "and" a lot. And oh my gosh, we can talk forever. So we will stop here. But we do really, really hope the women who are curious about this platform, curious about this conversation, to join us next week. So it's on Thursday, May 20th. And it's from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I say Central because we do have an international audience now. My last course had a woman from Australia, and we've invited women from Canada. So we are officially international. Thank you very much. But if this topic speaks to you and you just want to hear and listen, if you want to talk, we're going to provide a lot of opportunities for you to at least, share what's on your heart, or just be a part of the space and a place to reflect. So we invite you to join us, and we'll share all the details in our comments or our post. And thank you again, Miss Shannon.
Anytime. It's always a pleasure to share space with you.
Thank you, dear. Well, we hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we hope you join us next week.
Yay.
Jazz hands. Bye, everybody.
Bye.